Alright, we're back into it. Finally, it's been a few days, but been pretty busy. And now we've got all that knocked over. I'll show you what I was up to. We were sorting this, my son and I were sorting this out for my daughter to park in. As you can see, there's a lot of dirt that had to be removed. So put a bit of edging on it. And then there's nearly 5 tonne of road base here. And to get the vibrating plates and pack it all down. So it's done now, it's finished. I can get back into this. I've got to clean up first, because we've still got picks, axes, steel, we've got this crap everywhere. As usual, messy bastard. So, I'm going to pack all this up. Tidy all this up, because I've got stuff everywhere. Pack it up. And then I'll bring you back when we're ready to start cutting some steel. I'm going to bring the steel in and start cutting the framework for this. Oh, this came in. This is my other solenoid. So I've got to drill and tap the holes in the bottom of that, same as that one, 6mm. I don't even know if I've got any more 6mm screws. There's 2 that were in the bottom of that one, but I had 4. And what I've done with the other 2, I have no idea. They're not in there. So it'll be a run into town just to buy some more. That's okay, they're not very expensive, so I'll go in town and get some more later when I'm ready to do that. But I'm going to do the frame to put this on first. Build the frame, then I'm going to start addressing this stuff. Sandblast everything. Take that off. Sort that. I don't know whether we're going to sandblast that or paint it. Not sandblast it, you idiot. Of course I'm going to sandblast it. What I meant to say was whether I'm going to powder coat it or paint it. I might powder coat all the small stuff, including this. I could probably powder coat that. It's just lifting it into the oven that's going to be the killer. And I've got to pull this apart. I've got to make a new bracket for the limit. Got to make a new one for the go. Got to machine all that out and put the new nylon in for the gates. So yeah, we'll be full steam ahead now. I'm going to try and get out here every day, because I've got to finish this. It's got to be done. I've got 3 weeks, a little bit less than 3 weeks. So the 4th, I've got to have this finished, function tested, ready to go. And in between all that, I've got to bring some heads in. I've got a heap of alloy heads out there I've got to cut up in my saw to take with me for Big D to melt, to put it with the rest of the tons of stuff he's already got there to melt. But yeah, let me sort out this mess and we'll come back and start doing some work. Rightio, we've got them all cut. That is the bottom, because it's a little bit bigger, so I'm going to make it so that it's not just straight up and down. That's the top, and they're the legs. And I've only used 2 pieces of steel, so I've still got plenty there. Once I've built it, and look, that's what this bench was originally purchased for. I've never actually welded anything on it. I've got to cover all that crap, but I've got a welding blanket there to throw over the top of it. Because I cannot use that bench. So I'm going to start welding it together on here. I'll do the top and then the bottom. And then I'll work out the angle for the legs and give them a trim. And then what I'm going to do is just tack it all together. I'm not going to make the mistake I always make, which is weld things solid, like weld the bottom, weld the top, and then weld the legs on, and everything is out of kilter. So I mean, I can fabricate stuff, but a Boilermaker I am not. So I'm just going to just clean the ends up. And that's Duragal too, that's not hot dip gal. So it's a little bit easier to work with. I mean, I've still got to get the gal off it. But what I was thinking, what I'm going to do, I'm trying to handle the cord here because I'm charging the camera at the same time. I forgot to plug it in. Rather than 45 degree on the ends, what I'm going to do is, two of them I'm going to cut it out like that. So you've got a tab to sit over the end. So I'll weld it that way. That's going to be plenty strong enough for what we want. Yeah, I don't know. No, I think I'll cut it 45. I might even get out me poor old Milwaukee drop saw and cut them on that, because I just really can't be arsed frigging around with that saw. So I might put my drop saw on there. That's what I'll do. Screw it. I'll do that. I'll cut them all to the desired angle, except for the legs, these legs obviously. But once I work those out, then I'll cut those on that as well. So just stand by while I set everything up, and then I'll bring you back when I start cutting this. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. Yeah, the other way is going to leave weak spots, I think. Not that it's not going to be that heavy, but, and I'm going to brace it. So let me think about it for a minute and then we'll come back. Righto, I just went ahead and did them. I changed wheels. The wheel that was in there is not a whole lot smaller than that one, but it does make a difference. But I still, as it was, had to pack it out because 45 degrees is, it's too hard to get the blade to cut through, and every time you do, it locks the pivot at the back, which was a pain in the bum. So I just packed out one and that worked fine. Worked out, measure how far from the end and then cut them off. It remains to be seen how accurate they are. They should be fine once I put them in. I've got the square clamps in there. I've got the square clamps. I'll clamp it all together first, and yeah, and see how we go. Or just do one side at a time with an end on it, and then put them together, if that makes sense. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just run these over the linisher, clean them up, take a little bit of the gal off. Like I said, there's hardly any smoke, nothing when I was cutting those, so that's the good thing about Duragal, is it doesn't stink the place out. But it's still going to be a bit of a bear to weld, so... Sorry about that, somebody rang. Yeah, so I'm going to just give these a hit. And then once I weld the top and the bottom, then I'll work out my angles on here, and then set that accordingly. Yeah, probably only be something like 10 degrees, I'm not sure, but I'll work it out somehow. So just give me a second and I'll get these sorted. I've got one corner tacked together, square on it, and that looks pretty bloody good. Although I've got a bit of a gap on the corners here, but it should be fine. I'll be able to fill that and grind it down. So let me get the other one done and then we'll start putting them together. Okay, that's them tacked together. And they're pretty square. I think one of them is out by about 1/2 mil in one corner. I don't know how that works, but because the other 3 corners are dead square, but one corner's out. So anyway, it is what it is. Yeah, that's pretty square. The only thing I've got to make sure is they're flat, like not twisted. They look like they're fairly good. We'll have to use the Gapcraft wire to fill in some of these ends, but that's all good. So what I'm going to try and do now is work out the angle of the dangle. And I should be able to do that just by putting that there, sitting the uprights sort of here. I'm not going to put them right on the ends, just set them in a little. And then lean them over, like measure this to make sure this is equal, both sides and the ends. Stand them up and tilt them over until the inside of it lines up with that, if you know what I mean. I'll put you in the stand and I'll go and grab some stuff. Righto. Now, here's how I worked it out. And they're pretty close now. I know what I want, but I did this, as you can see, my string line. This is all sorted. So what I've done is I sat it on the edge there at the bottom. As you can see, you can't see that. And down there. And then what I've done is I just put a string line over the end of it and just brought it back until it touched on there. I don't know if you can see that. I'm just going to stop it swinging. 81, it says 81 degrees, so I want 9-degree cut on each end. So that should see me right. Let me get my saw set back up and we'll come back and have a look. Right, I've cut them all off and I've zeroed that at the table, which it is. Stick him on the side, wrong side, and that side, so you can see it. Now I said I needed it to be about 9, there we go, 81.6 is pretty much what it is. So I'm pretty sure you can see that. But if not, take my word for it. Turn that off. Right, we'll go back down here now. I'll get the saw off and I'll get everything set up on the welding bench. I'll bring you back shortly. Righto, noisy welder going, but I've got that all tacked together now. It looks to be, from the measurements that I got, it should be right. I've got all these at the same angle, and then tacked them in place. Pulled that lid down, tacked it and measured it, and the measurements from there to there, plus or minus about a mil, maybe 1.5 mil all the way around. But if you look at it, it looks pretty flat, it's not twisted. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to weld this out and then call it a day. I've got a few things I've got to get sorted this afternoon. So I'll weld this out now, and then tomorrow when I come out I can put the wheels on it and then start sorting the frame to mount on top here. Yeah, we'll start making some fairly big steps forward now, I think. Definitely some big steps forward. So, and I'm thinking once that's welded, I don't think I'm going to need to brace it. I don't know yet. We'll see how sturdy it is. I might just put a brace from that corner to corner, and then the opposite direction on the other side, and maybe just one across the back. So I want to keep the front vacant because that's where I'm going to put the control panel for it. So yeah, so I'll weld this out and then I'll come back. Righto, there we go, welded out. Stinks in here. I had the exhaust fan going. It's a little bit fumey. Is what it is. I don't have a air, what do you call it? air-fed helmet. I just don't see the logic in spending $1,800 on something that'll never ever get used out here. So yeah, the welds don't look too bad considering it was gal, but and I didn't clean the gal off properly in some spots, but you get that. I just realised I haven't welded these top bits, but I'll do that tomorrow after I put the wheels on it. What I'm planning on doing on this as well is I'm going to put a feet. So I have to do it once I get the feet welded on it, but I put a lever. So when you pull the lever down, it'll lift up on little feet, so it'll sit still, won't roll around the casters. I might do that. I've just got to see. I should have enough material for it. I've just got to work out how I'm going to do it. And whether I've got the time, I want to get everything else done first, and that'll come last, just prior to painting. So, and I'll dress all these up with the flat oil tomorrow, so they'll look pretty. It's not really cocky shit, but you know, I wouldn't make a welder's arsehole sometimes, but they're not too bad. Spilled oil on the floor, and yeah, how I said I was going to cover that, I didn't. And guess what happened? We had just a little fire. It was only a paper towel. It's all burnt away on the floor. I just dragged it out. There's nothing else in there that could really burn. Oh, maybe a rag, but it was just a little fire. No excitement. So that's going to be it for today. Tomorrow I should be out here for a good part of the day, so I won't be just up until lunchtime. I'll come back out after lunch and continue on with bits. But I'll get those feet on, the wheels I should say. Got these casters here, they're 50 kilo I think, or two, is it 50? I can't remember now. Hang on, there it is. A bit more than 50 kilos per wheel, so it's 200 kilos of carrying capacity. It's not going to be that heavy. So that's it for the day, people. So far it looks reasonable. And I'm thinking of putting a drawer in here too. I kept some slides just to put the bucket on, so you can slide I'm going to have, so just you can pull it out, so it just sticks out past the end about here, so everything can fall in. So the end of the machine will be, it's still quite hot, will be about here. So it might even be good enough if I would just make a mount to put the bucket in there, but I won't know that until I start to put it back together. So and I'll probably assemble it on the bench there like that. So oh, it's got welding spatter on it. It's actually used for something, used what it was designed for. In amongst all that paint where I've done tables, that's another thing that I'll be making once this is over, delivered to Big D. When I come back, next project, I've got two full alloy V8 motors outside there. I'm going to make coffee tables out of. I'm going to donate one to a person that I know. I'll remain nameless at this point in time. The other one I'm going to sell, so keep an eye out for those. And I've got to finish that table there too. That's a little round table. I might do that all together. I've already got the gear shaft here that I'm going to mount it on. It's down there on the floor. And I've got the diff center outside that I'm going to pull the gears out to sit it on. So, but anyway, that's it. I usually like to hang around out here for a little while after I've been welding, just to make sure nothing's smouldering. Last thing I need out here is a fire, hey? There's that much crap out here. Like, I do have a fire extinguisher, of course, but yeah, and I've made quite a friggin' mess as usual. Anyway, I'm waffling, aren't I? Anyway, thanks folks for hanging around, and I'll get this video out today, and the other one we'll do another one, maybe do another one tomorrow. I'll see how much I record tomorrow. Yeah, see how much I record. I don't want to overdo it, like, you know, upload 4 videos in 1 week. It just gets a bit much and people get sick of it. So but I'll get this one up since I'm back out here into it, That I thought that looked a little bit out of square, but no, it's square. I put the square on it before I welded it all up, so they're all square that way, and they're all the same angle tilt in, so that should mean this top piece here is central to the bottom piece. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for hanging around, and I'll see you in the next one. And until then, stay safe. Peace.